I have been so excited to show you guys this jacket. Hands down, this is one of my favorite things I have ever made. So let me break it all down for you. Obviously, the fabric is a thrifted quilt. So cool. I was looking all around Charlotte for one and couldn't find any when one of my followers reached out that she was able to snag 3 of them at her local thrift shop all the way in Oregon. So she sent me some pictures and I chose this one with the super cute ladybugs on it. The rest of the quilt is just a series of alternating 9 patch blocks and strip piecing. But these little ladybugs just made it feel so homey, and I love that. I got the quilt in the mail months ago. I held on to it and used it as an actual quilt for the longest time, waiting for the right pattern to come to me. Every once in a while, I'd shop online for hoodie or sweatshirt patterns, but nothing ever really felt right. Obviously, before I cut into this most precious fabric, I wanted to make sure I had a clear plan that I was very confident about. I didn't think originally that I had anything that I would like in my pattern stash, but I went shopping in there anyways and found the Dana Marie Design Co. Everyday Hoodie pattern that I got from Sew Expo in 2019. The more I looked at it, the more I knew it would be perfect. Originally, the princess seams and, cutting up the quilt more so than it needed to be wasn't that great of an idea, but the more that I thought about the boxy shape that the quilt would produce, the more I realized that princess seams would actually be really helpful in giving the jacket some shape and definition and just in general be less boxy. Also, there are pockets that are hidden inside those seams, and that seemed like something that would be very practical for warmth, also just to keep things like keys in my phone. So the more I thought about it, the more I realized this was the right pattern. So I went for it. I laid out all my pieces, cutting each of them in a single layer. I wasn't trying to match the front across the zipper. I actually wanted some variation there, more so than I ended up with actually. But I like how the ladybugs are facing different directions and are not perfectly lined up. I did not pay any attention at all to pattern placement for the sleeve, but I did make sure that my center back piece prominently displayed a ladybug. The hood went down wherever there was space left. I also ended up cutting a lower band using some of the strip piecing of the quilt to accomplish kind of like a horizontal banded look there. Sewing it up was a breeze. The pockets are made from muslin fabric and went in really easily. I serged every single raw edge prior to sewing any seam together. It's like a Hong Kong finish, but with serger stitching instead of bias. You have to serge the raw edges to make sure that the quilt top, batting, and backing stay lined up when you are sewing. I serged all the pieces separately and then sewed them together to prevent the seams from having too much bulk. All of the seams, other than the side seams, were then top stitched down as well. The princess seams were top stitched toward the center. The hood seams were top stitched flat. In some way or another, they were all reinforced that way. The hood and sleeves are both hemmed by turning the fabric under once. The sleeve ended up being too tight though. It's actually a great quality in a hoodie pattern when working with something like sweatshirt fleece that has, a little bit of stretch to it, but my quilt obviously has no stretch and I needed more wearing ease. So I dove into the quilt scraps and I cut a wedge to insert in the sleeve's existing underseam. There are already so many pieces to this jacket, and obviously the design of the quilt is very busy, so you probably never would have noticed if I didn't call your attention to it. But if you're going to make a quilt coat from the Dana Marie Design Co. Everyday Hoodie pattern, then you should know I did insert an additional 3 inches at the hem of the sleeve, tapering it down to nothing at the arm side. And it ended up working out perfectly. She fits really comfortably. I used metal grommets in the hood and then fed my drawstring through the hood hem so I could adjust that opening if I needed. I used my new favorite hack for the drawstring. It's actually a shoestring. They come in a ton of different widths, a ton of different lengths, like way longer than you would maybe think, and a ton of colors. They also happen to be very affordable. So they make the perfect cotton drawstring in my opinion. Plus the little plastic endings, the things at the end of the drawstring, also just give it a really nice finish. And I know I said I was only going to wear this around the house and for my glamping trip, but screw that. I am going to wear this thing everywhere because it's just that cool and I love it that much. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think of it. I'm going to try and figure out how to make a pair of matching booties to go with it. Obviously, that's for just around the house, more like slippers than anything. And if I had enough fabric left, which I don't, I would be making a pair of pants too. Like, I want a whole matching outfit. So if you're going to attempt a quilt coat on your own, be sure to get the largest quilt you can find. You're going to want an entire head-to-toe look too, and you will use up every inch of that fabric. But that's going to do it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all very soon. Bye!